I was gonna do part two of the Deadly Disguise, um, red, green, white commander deck from Murder at Calvo, Calvo, Calov, Manor. Um, One of the commander suggestions from this one, um, was a cost Eyes of Glade. And ironically, when I opened up the sampler pack, that happened to be one of the cards I also got, although this one wasn't a foil, it happened to be, it looked more like a extended art instead of the foil. So where I left off from the first video, the next card was Beast Whisperer. It's a 2/3 creature, an elf druid that costs 2 and 2 forest. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Um, so green sometimes has, you know, card draw depending on creatures. Um, there's, I think it's Garrick's Uprising, which is an enchantment that does that, but it's dependent on creatures 4 or greater. Next is Death, Death Mist Raptor. It's a 3/3 creature, a dinosaur beast for 1 and 2 forest. Has Death Touch. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, you may return Death Mint Raptor from your graveyard to the battlefield face up or face down. And it has Megamorph, which for 4 in the forest, which is a little bit more than the 1 and 2 forest, the normal casting cost. You may cast this card face down as a 2/2 creature for 3. Turn it face up any time for its Megamorph cost and put a 1/1 counter on it. So at that point, instead of paying 3, you're paying 3 to play it face down and then 5 for the Megamorph to put a 1/1 counter on it. Sometimes the Megamorphs are, the value's there, and sometimes it feels like a lot to, for a little bit of a payoff. Den Protector. It's a 2/1 creature, a human warrior for 1 in a forest. Creatures with power less than Den Predator's power can't block. So if your opponent has a bunch of, 1/1 tokens or 0/1s that they have for blocking, this says, oh, your power is less than mine, which is 2. You can't block me. Kind of cool, but I mean, its defense is 1, so it's probably gonna die to something bigger. Its Megamorph is 1 in the forest. You may cast it face down as a 2/2 creature for 3. Turn it face up anytime for its Megamorph cost and put a 1/1 counter on it. When Den Protector is turned face up, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So in addition to getting the 1/1 counter from the Megamorph cost, you're also returning something from the graveyard. So that actually has its value compared to the last card I talked about was that uh, Hooded Hydra. It's a um, 0/0 creature, a snake hydra for X and 2 forests. Hood Hydra enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. When hooded Hydra dies, create a 1/1 snake creature token for each 1/1 counter on it. So, I mean, even though it says it's a 0/0, you're it's really the power and toughness is equal to how much you pay for X, because um, anything with toughness of 0 would die. It has a morph cost of 3 and 2 forests. As Hood Hydra is turned face up, put 5/1/1 counters on it. Present Cloud Scraper. It's a 13/13 creature, a beast mutant for 7 and 3 forests. So obviously a high mana cost, especially considering 3 of those are symbols. But it is a 13/13. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Crossing Cloud Scraper unless you pay 2. So in addition to the high mana cost, you're paying a certain amount of mana to keep it on the battlefield, or you're sacrificing it. Has a morph cost of 7 and 2 forests, so a single forest less for the for the morph cost compared to the normal casting cost. Given the trade-off is you're paying 3 to play it face down, and then you're paying the morph cost later. Crossing Colossus. It's a 9/9 green or creature beast for 6 and 3 forests. So obviously, like the last one, it's a high mana cost and happens to have 3 mana symbols in it. Yes, it's a big creature, um, but it doesn't really do anything other than being a big creature. Its morph cost is 6 and 2 forests, so again, 1 forest less than the actual casting cost, but at the trade off of paying 3 to play it face down and then play the morph costs. Obscuring Aether. It's an enchantment that costs a single forest. Face down creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. You can pay 1 in a forest, turn Obscuring Aether face down, it becomes a 2/2 creature. So it reduces the cost of face down cards, and you can make it a creature if you needed to for 2. Oh, Haran Frostfang. It's a 2/6 snow creature, snake, for 3 and 2 forest. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So I feel like there was either an enchantment or an artifact, or maybe one of the gods, which was an enchantment creature from back or somewhere around Theros that gave attacking creatures Death Touch. So that's kind of cool that they put on a creature. Um, and then you also get the card draw from dealing combat damage. So it forces, the opponent to, do I sacrifice my creatures, or does your opponent allow me, the attacking player, to get card advantage by drawing when I deal damage to that. So that's kind of cool. Return of the Wild Speaker. It's an instant for 4 in a forest. Choose one. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. And the other option is non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn. So where we just had a couple of big creatures, one was 13/13, the other one was a 9/9. Being able to draw that many cards, especially if you have open mana to play some of those cards so you're not discarding down to 7, like that seems good, but also being able to, if you need to attack, potentially give all your non-humans +3/+3 until end of turn to maybe do enough damage to a creature or your opponent's life. Root Elemental. It's a 6/6 or sorry 6/5 creature elemental for 4 and 2 forest. Its morph cost is 5 and 2 forest, so 1 more than the casting cost. Um, when Root Elemental is turned face up, you may put a creature card from your hand on the battlefield. So even though the morph cost is more, it's giving you something of value by letting you um, put something on the battlefield from a creature from your hand onto the battlefield. And where it doesn't say cast, you would presumably be playing it without paying its mana cost. So you get you know, 2 creatures for the price of 1. You might pay the extra for the morph cost, but if you're gonna do that, you're probably gonna play a costlier card doing it that way, not something that's a 1 or 2 mana. Ceres, the Viper Fang. Kind of interesting that we've had a couple of cards with Fang in the name. It's a 3/4 legendary creature, a human warlock. So where it is a legendary creature, it could be a commander, but only for a mono green deck. It can This one's a red, green, white, so it couldn't be a commander for this particular deck. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch. So we already had something for attacking creatures. This one's for tapped creatures. Other untapped creatures you control have hexproof, so that's pretty nice. Having your untapped creatures not be able to be targeted by your opponents. You can pay 1 and tap this guy, untap another target creature or land you control. So that's also beneficial, being able to untap something. Seaborn Muse. It's a 2/4 creature spirit for 3 and 2 forest. Untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. So really no drawback for attacking. It kind of gives your creatures vigilance, but not really, because instead of your creatures not tapping, they're still tapping, but you're just untapping it on your opponent's turn. So, allows you to attack your opponent's turn, untap them, and then allow you to block with them. So I guess vigilance was more steps. Tamir War Shaman. It's a 4/5 creature, a human shaman for 4 and 2 forest. When Tamir War Shaman enters the battlefield, manifest the top card of your library. In the parentheses for the reminder text, put that card onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature. Turn it face up any time for its mana cost if it's a creature card. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, if it's a creature, you may have it fight target creature you don't control. So with the amount of stuff that's giving creatures death touch, um, this is actually pretty cool. You're, you know, turning a creature face up and having it fight an opponent's creature, and if your creature happens to have death touch, then you're pretty much guaranteeing you're taking care of a annoying creature of your opponent's. So Selenite Hermit. It's a 1/1 creature, an elf shaman for 3 in the forest. All saplings get +1/+1. Morph cost is 3 and 2 forest. Whenever Selenite Hermit is turned face up, create 4 1/1 sapling tokens. So even though the morph cost is 1 forest more than the casting cost, plus the 3 to play it face down, you're getting 4 1/1 tokens for that extra mana, and the tokens happen to be saplings, which this guy gives +1/+1 to saplings. So the value is actually there for the morph cost. So some of the morph cards have the value, some of them don't. But I guess the ones that don't, you're potentially not revealing information about that creature until you've turned face up. So there could be some benefits to doing it that way sometimes. Tusky, Bearer of Secrets. It's a 1/1 legendary creature, squirrel for 3 in a forest. This spell can't be countered. Indestructible. Tusky, Bearer of Secrets, attacks each turn if able. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So, I mean, it's good that it can't be countered and is indestructible. Normally, I'd look at being a creature being forced to attack each turn as a drawback, but it's indestructible, so unless your opponent has some way of getting around it, you're just attacking with a creature, I guess. Trail of Mystery. An enchantment for 1 in the forest. Whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, if it's a creature, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So it was how many um, cards that you can play face down and then turn them face up. This is a really good card because you're either searching for a land or you're giving the creature, um, a buff until end of turn. Whirl Whisperwood Elemental. It's a 4/4 creature elemental for 3 and 2 forest. At the beginning of your end step, manifest the top card of your library. The reminder text is put it onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature, then as a 2/2 creature. Turn it face up anytime for its mana cost if it's a creature card. Sacrifice Whisperwood Elemental until end of turn, face up non-token creatures you control gain. When this creature dies, manifest the top card of your library. Eudora Grave Gardener. It's a 5/5 legendary creature, tree folk druid for 4 and a forest. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. It's a forest land, and the reminder text in parentheses, it has no other types or abilities. Um, so I got to some of the multicolored cards now, so I'm going to um, stop here and come back to this at a later point. Hopefully you find some interest in this deck and maybe check out some of my other videos about other commander decks. Thanks and have a good day.